it is faster, it is an option, and I like it. Working together as a team. Greetings, welcome to another Deckard Games YouTube PC building thing. Today we are going to do something a little different because, well, a lot of us are moving to the 12th gen Intel platform. Others are waiting for the AMD AM5 new platform, and that means that a lot of people are disposing of their old again hardware because, well, they are already putting some money aside to buy something new, and with prices going closer to MSRP, that means that the second-hand market prices are also coming down. And today we are going to check what we can do with some second-hand components, PC components. We are going to put these together and run a couple of or a few benchmarks, see how much did we pay it for all this. All this is used, all this came from the second-hand market, and see that, or better, with that same amount of money that all of this costs, what could we buy if we wanted something new at this very moment. So yeah, I believe it is a consumer friendly video, so yeah, let's put these things together while talking a little bit about it and checking their prices. As usual, let's start with our motherboard. Here we have a Aorus X570 Elite from Gigabyte. As you can see, it is a AMD platform that we are going to build, socket AM4. You get the top of the line chipset at the moment, obviously, the X570, and this board, second-hand market used, costs something like 100 euros or $105. And although you can buy cheaper motherboards new, they are not X570, so you go with the flagship chipset. You can go, I don't know, with something new, a B550, or even the previous generation. But again, PCIe 4.0, plenty of I/O, M.2 slots, stuff like that. So yeah, 100 euros or $105, and you get this lovely motherboard from Gigabyte. As you can see, I already have some retention brackets for the cooler that we are going to use, because we are not going to use stock cooler. Again, plenty of I/O, DDR4 obviously, PCIe times 16, the first slot obviously, which goes directly to the CPU. This one is 8 times. Your I/O SATA ports, one M.2, another M.2 slot. So yeah, a full-featured motherboard that you can get on the second-hand market, and well, it needs a CPU. And for CPU we are going to use this one, the Ryzen 7 3700X, 8-core 16-thread CPU with a 3.6 GHz base clock and a boost of 4.4, and this cost online online on the second-hand market. Well, it was online, but sure, 180 euros or $190. So as you can see, it comes complete in box with the right prism cooler, which I believe was never used, and the CPU itself. Look at that, it even comes with a little sticker. So yeah, we get 8 cores, 16 thread. If you want a game and I don't know, do some video capture or game capture, you want to do some live streams and stuff like that, this is more than enough. So let's put this into our motherboard. As usual, you gotta open the lever, align the little arrow or the 90 degrees corner. As you can see, the others are not. The others are 45. With a little arrow on your CPU socket. Put it in place. Make sure it is in there. Just a little jiggle, and close the lever. And there you go. CPU is installed. Now we can address something else, like the RAM. Here we have 16 gigabyte kit of DDR4 running at 3600. This is CL16 and it features RGB. Well, and this cost on the second-hand market 60 euros or $63, something like that. And then, well, RAM doesn't lose a lot of value because, well, when it's good, it is RAM, so new or not, it gets the job done. And a lot of brands, they give you a lifetime warranty. So yeah, RAM memory, again, it doesn't lose a lot of value, but still, it was cheaper than buying it new. So how to install RAM? Look at that. You have the little notch on the module and you have the notch on the DIMM socket. You just align them and push it down. There you go. Once you have that one installed, you do the same with the other. Now for our operating system storage, we are going to use this Samsung 970 EVO Plus 250 gigabytes NVMe SSD, which, let me look at my notes, this costs something like 40 euros or $42. It's just a, oops, it's upside down, just a little guy. There you go, you are going to use this one, and because we have a second M.2 slot, we are also going to use this little guy from Intel, which doesn't even have a case, another 250 gigabyte M.2 SSD, and this one costs 35 euros or $37. So yeah, this way we can populate both M.2 slots, so we can make use of them. So yeah, let's put those in there. So for M.2 NVMe's SSDs, if you have a cover, you remove the cover, then remove your screw, just put it in there and secure it in place. And if you have your heatsink cover, cooler heatsink thing, well, put it back. Well, our main SSD is there. Let's take care of the second one. Of course, this is not a lot of storage, but we'll get into that a little bit later. The other one goes in here, and there you have it. Both SSDs are installed, and when it comes to, I'm not going to put the cooler right now because, well, it's big, and I want to be able to reach all the connectors. So for the motherboard part of things, this is it, so let us continue. Now, because every PC needs a PC case, in this case we are going to use a Lee Lencool 215, which is new. This one came from Switch Technology because I wanted to use a new case, and I like Lee stuff, but you can get something cheaper, new or used, it doesn't matter. This one comes with 3 fans, 2 giant 200 millimeter fans at the front, look at that, and it comes with an exhaust fan, which I've removed because I'm using 3 Lee RGB fans, so I will not be adding these to the total cost because, well, it's more of an aesthetic thing rather than performance, because these 2 massive intake fans and the other one, the exhaust fan, should be more than enough for a PC like this, but well, I wanted to throw some RGB in there, so that takes care of that. So yeah, so these will not be added to the cost, although we can, but we are not going to. So yeah, let's put some stuff in there. So for extra storage, we are going to use two MaxStor Z1 or Z1 SATA SSDs, 480 gigabytes. And why not one? Well, because if we are using two, we can put them in RAID, so we can get some extra performance from them. One is already there, we're gonna put the other one in there. So yeah, this way we have our operating system SSD. We have a secondary SSD where we can put the game that we are currently using, we are currently playing, and we can put the others in here and swap things around. So I don't know, I think it's a nice idea to save some money. And again, these will be working in RAID, so performance will be okay. So yeah, let's put the other one in there. There you go, our two MaxStor SSDs are in there, which again will work in RAID. It's an option. You can ask, hey, wait, why not buy a 1 terabyte SSD? I say sure, it is more or less the same capacity, but speed will not be the same. You will get one SSD working at regular SATA 3, but sure, this one, well, this will work in SATA 3 also, but will work in RAID 0, so I don't know, it is faster. It is an option, and I like it, working together as a team. Now, obviously, all of this needs power, and well, I forgot to say the price of the MaxStor SSDs, I believe. Well, they were 44 euros each, making a total of 88 euros or 93 US dollars. So that takes care of that. Also, the case is something like 85 euros or $90. But again, this one is new and it came from Switch Technology. Switch Technology in Lisboa, the best computery store boutique thing in Portugal, so feel free to check it out in the description of this video. And again, to power all this, we are going to use nothing less than a Seasonic power supply, 80 plus bronze, 620 watts, and it is a full modular power supply, which I got on the second-hand market for 30 euros or $32. So yeah, we get Seasonic quality, although I believe 80 plus bronze PSUs from Seasonic are not made by Seasonic, but well, it is branded Seasonic, so yeah, in Seasonic I believe, and we get full modularity with cables and stuff, so yeah, let's put this thing in there. There you have it, our Seasonic power supply. The fan will face down to pull some air from there. It has a dust filter and stuff, so yeah, it is Li and Li stuff, so sure. So we have a lot of cables already routed, and well, I believe we can put our motherboard in there along with the stuff which is already there. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, and it will go something like this. Well, now that we have all the cables, or almost all the cables plugged and connected, finally I'm going to put our CPU cooler, which is this one, the Noctua NHU12SD Chromax Black Edition, a very expensive cooler, which cost on the second-hand market something like $30 or 32 euros, or better, it's the other way around. So 30 euros, something like $32, so you have that Noctua quality thing. So let's remove this out of here. This also in there it is, look at that. It is all black, so sure. there you go. Our Noctua cooling thing for the CPU. That's why I wanted to plug all the cables first, and because this is a easy CPU cooler to install, as always, let's use some Arctic MX4. You put a little in there. You won't be able to see it, but sure. This way you can't judge me. I have to remove the fan first. Like so. So yeah, the Noctua logo goes that way, and we basically just put it in there so we can screw it. As always, screw it, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 turns on one side, on the other, and keep going until it's secure or tighten in place. You can push it to see if it's in place, and it is, so great. Only 2 things left to do. Put the fan in here. I'm not gonna bother you with it. And well, we need a GPU because this needs a discrete GPU, so yeah, let's take care of that. Finally, with all cables plugged in connected, comes probably the most controversial part, which is the GPU. Here we have a Zotac GeForce GTX 980, the AMP edition, with only 4 gigabytes of VRAM, which you can get online on the second-hand market for around 180 euros or $190. I would say that this, when it comes to a new GPU, which is I don't know, more or less the same performance, I would say it would be the AMD RX 6500 XT, which is a somewhat controversial card, which you can get again for around $200. So yeah, it is more or less the same value and more or less the same performance, but since we are using used or second-hand parts, here we have it, a GTX 980 AMP edition from Zotac, which will go in here, like so. So this just needs power, and I routed them from the top because this way it prevents a little bit of sagging, so hopefully. So yeah, 2 6-pin PCIe connectors. So there you have it, a PC built with used parts.
Holy shit!
Except for the case, but sure, that won't make much of a difference. So yeah, let's power this thing to see if it works or not. Oh, for some reason we already have some RGB on our ballistics, and the computer is not even on. So let's power this thing on. Ooh, we have RGB at the front, and at the others also, but remember, these are optional. They do not come with the case. I will not be including them in the price. So yeah, man, look at that. All black with RGB going on, our Noctua cooling. It is a lovely machine. So yeah. So let us see what we can do with a PC made out of used parts. So let's run a few games. So here we are at my new desktop. As you can see, Windows is installed and up and running. Here we have our Ryzen 7 3700X, 8-core, 16-thread, 16 gigabytes of RAM, our SSDs and stuff. I am downloading a few games. Here we have our drives, our operating system, our secondary M.2, which is already full, but whatever, our RAID with our 2 Maxtors, and I've also thrown a Raptor in there, you know, just for some downloads and some GOG stuff. So yeah, it is up and running. As you can see, we have Steam installed and Epic Games and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to quickly throw some numbers at the screen because that's what you gotta do. I'm not gonna comment on them, just some benchmarks using this hardware to see what the heck can we do with it. And you can pause the video if you wanna watch it more carefully. So yeah, let's throw some numbers at the screen and let's talk about it in a few moments. Now, as you can see, those were some pretty decent numbers, especially at 1080p. Well, we have a new game installed. Let's move it to my games folder. As I was saying, those were some decent numbers, especially at 1080p, considering that we are using used parts. And I've quickly round up some hardware, which is new, that you can get right now, with more or less the same amount of money, because here we have the prices for this used hardware, making a total of 128 euros or $174 for all this crap. And in here, with this hardware, we have more or less 100 euros more, or I don't know, how much is this? So $978 for this, when we have 174. So yeah, it is 100 euros more and $100 more. But this, we have a Fantex P300 Air, which is a pretty decent case. And remember, we are using a new case in our build. We have a B550 platform, not an X570. So we are down here. We have a Ryzen 5 5600 with 6 cores, 12 threads. So in this case, we are using the 3700X 8 core 16 thread. We are also losing in here. We have some RAM. Well, again, RAM is RAM. These Crucial Ballistics are CL16. These are CL18. Well, you may get a little bit of difference, especially in lows, but it is what it is. SSDs, 2 times SSDs, it's the same. 2 M.2s, sure. We have a 650 watt power supply from Seasonic. We lose some cable modularity here, and it's way more expensive. We have an Arctic Freezer 34, which is a pretty decent cooler. It's not a Noctua, but it is a decent cooler nonetheless. And we have an RX 6500 XT, which again is more or less the same as the GTX 980, although you lose some hardware encoding because AMD decided so. And here we have that hardware encoding, and we have CUDA and stuff like that. So yeah, $100 more, and you may say, well, for $100 I would prefer something new, and then that's fine, of course. But again, look at the difference. We have an inferior motherboard, we have an inferior CPU. Not that it makes much of a difference, but we have inferior RAM. We also have inferior power supply. We have an inferior CPU cooler. So as you can see, the used or second-hand market is a pretty decent option at this moment, and you don't have to go all in one way or the other. You can mix things up. Let's say, well, I don't trust a used motherboard, I want to buy a new one. Sure, go ahead. And CPUs, well, if they have all the pins, it's very hard to broken a CPU. Not that it cannot happen, because it can, but it is very, very hard. So a used CPU is a much better deal right now. Remember that the 3700X is $190 or euros, and this one is 210, and it's way, way inferior. So yeah, I say that at this moment the second-hand market is a very valid option to seek some hardware, some components, if not all, just a few. I think that, well, it is a nice option. So yeah, that's the recommendation of this video. If you don't want to buy something new, if you don't have that requisite, so sure, why not take a look at the used or second-hand market and grab a few bargains and build a decent machine for around $850, more or less, something like that. And yeah, you can game a few games, especially at 1080p, which is a okay resolution. It is fine by me. So it is the tech tips of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a thumbs up, because I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support is always very much appreciated. I guess I'm off to play some Bud Spencer and Terence Hill Slaps and Beans, because why not? Remember that there is also social media. You can follow me on social media, because following me in real life would be kind of awkward, but do whatever you want to do. As always, thank you very much for watching this consumer advice tips kind of video, and until my next one, please do take care.